going on, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood fanboys here to discuss our spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine. How do we feel?
What a film.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know we've said this before if you ended up watching our last video, but I loved it. It was exactly what I expected, really. Like Ryan Reynolds and the banter between him and Hugh Jackman was wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, stunts were amazing. Visual effects were great. Plot was, you know, nothing too crazy, but it was still, I don't know, it was fun. I enjoyed it. So how about you?
Well, before I give you my opinion, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. And go make sure you go check out Ben and Alex's little discussion on RDJ and making his return back into the MCU. We might touch on that, give our opinions because we weren't in that video, so I kind of want to talk about it.
Yeah.
We haven't
stay
really
tuned until the end if you want to hear what we got to say.
But thank you so much for tuning in. All right, so Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, I loved it. It's everything I wanted from a Deadpool and Wolverine film.
Me too.
Sure, the plot had some problems, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I mean, as far as just like the entertainment value that I wanted from that movie, like just hearing the banter between Deadpool and Wolverine was good enough for me. The action scenes, I really enjoyed the action. I think it was a standout highlight as far as MCU movies go as of late. So yeah, I mean, for me, I still stand by having slept on it. I still stand by my 8.5.
Yep.
You were a 9, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I liked it. I was very happy with it. I was laughing the entire time. Although I will say that people beside me in the theater were driving me crazy. I had the first half of the film. I was.
Why?
They were just Okay, I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this. Okay, so it wasn't the fact, or it was a few things. One, they were just one of those really. And I don't want to shoot anybody down for having fun. I want you to have fun. The cinema is a place to, let loose, have fun. But there was a point where it was just I'm going to peek the mic.
At every little thing.
And to the point where we were in the loudest theater in the greater Toronto area. And I was having a hard time. I was missing the new jokes because they were still laughing at the jokes from 3 lines ago.
And, shut up.
And then also discussing it. Did you hear that? Oh, that was great. What? I can't believe he said that. It's and again, I'm glad they were having fun, but it was just it was interrupting my viewing experience, which was just come on, man. At a point, there's a point where it's enjoyment, but it's also just you're in a movie theater still, you know?
You gotta have a little bit of respect.
A little bit of etiquette.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a kind of a dividing road right now. It's because Marvel films have kind of created this audience engagement. They want you to clap and scream and cheer.
Well, especially with Deadpool literally breaking the fourth wall, right?
So that's happened. I've noticed ever since Infinity War Endgame. It's every movie you go to, it's the credits start rolling for a random. It's like when people clap on the plane. It's or not the credits. Sorry, not the end credits. I'm talking just the logos coming out. That's again. We've all been I've had my fair share of being an annoying moviegoer, and I don't want to shit on anybody for having a good time. But it was just the first half. I was just I wish I heard what he said.
Well, we'll just have to go see it again.
Oh, 100%. I do want to see it again.
On that note, the way the movie starts and how they're remember when we said we weren't gonna sorry, spoilers moving forward here.
This
so
is spoiler talk now.
Spoilers coming up. It's we're not gonna do anything with the Logan movie, and then immediately starts grave robbing,
desecrates his corpse. Honestly though, at first I was oh no, but then as the scene plays out, it's here's the thing. Yeah, sure, they're tying the canon together, but Deadpool at the end of the day is a parody film, right? So he's making fun of all the things. It doesn't affect Hugh Jackman's legacy in Logan at all, because again, they're making fun of the the MCU as a whole, every single Fox property. So I mean, I was sitting there as soon as the initial shock of you seeing his grave for the first time, and then he just starts fiddling with his jaw. I was fucking crying. I was
it was actually pretty cool too to see the adamantium skeleton.
Yeah,
see, everything else was decayed. I was it's actually a neat. I know it's supposed to be funny, but I was that's pretty cool.
No, it was cool. Yeah, there was. I really enjoyed the action. I thought it was great in that sequence. A little bit of some spotty CG, but honestly though, the CG for the movie, for the most part, was good. There were a couple scenes and we'll get into later on where I was I don't know, but obviously the blood was super CG, but I think that was Disney being point, we need to make it as sure R-rated, but the blood we need to make a little bit more, cartoony.
And he was not Deadpool was not scared to rip Disney apart.
Oh,
like,
no.
everything.
And that's what I give them credit for, because honestly, that was my biggest fear going into the movie, and I talked about it in my little breakdown video of leading up to this movie. But I was scared that like they were gonna let him have a few cracks, let him take his go at it, but then it was gonna be like, all right, but just off the rails like, the entire time.
I forget what character he was talking to, but he like makes his entrance and he's like, you're kind of coming in at a low point here in the MCU, and you're just like, whoa, not scared at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I loved all of the jokes, all of the self-referential material. I thought all of that was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Should we talk
cameos, man?
Yeah,
like
cameos.
So many people were in this movie, and like especially like that. There's that cool scene where he's kind of like sorting through all the different Wolverines. You got like the short Wolverine, you had the Cavalrine.
Cavalry,
the Cavalrine, man. I was like, what? I didn't realize who it was at first. He turns around, like, of course it's Henry Cavill. Guy's just a beast. He actually looked really good.
No, he did. I gotta say, during that entire montage, I don't know why, I guess like the Corridor Digital video planted the seed in my head, but I thought for some reason like Danny DeVito was gonna show up as, because did you see that video where they CG Danny DeVito as the Wolverine using footage from It's Only Son? I thought for sure, as a joke, the most jacked guy instead of Cavill was gonna be Danny DeVito. So I'm like preparing for that, but then it's Henry Cavill, so my immediate like internal giggles went to like
it was insane, man. Even that one too, like I think it was like straight out of a comic where he's
crucified.
Like, I was like, holy shit, they went dark with that.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah,
all of the cameos, and like honestly, I will say like the cameos were. Like, sure, they were commenting on the gratuity of like Marvel cameos, but I also felt that the cameos were actually like tasteful and purposeful too.
Yeah,
like
they made sense to the plot.
And you know what? Like, it was kind of a Ryan Reynolds' way of being like acknowledging the Fox characters, like some of the more like niche Fox characters or like the early 2000s. It was like a love letter, being like, hey, you know what? We remember you guys, right? Yeah, it's like they laid the groundwork for what the MCU is today, even though not technically, but like if those movies didn't exist, then who knows? We might not have the MCU today. So 100%. I liked it. I thought Jennifer Gardner as Elektra was cool.
Yeah. Channing Tatum as Gambit.
That was so there was so much confusion to me there, because I think it was the joke though that his accent kept changing everything, because he sounded Jamaican one second.
Comments on it too, like, who is your dialect coach? Just absolutely rips them apart. And then like all of his effects and stuff were sick.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wow. Yeah. Well done.
I loved all that. The Blade entrance was sick.
Oh,
the score playing. Yeah. I was losing it at that. That was cool.
I know we mentioned this in the last video too, but Marvel sometimes has very generic scores, but that, like, I was like, shit.
Yeah,
immediately got out of the theater driving home, put that on.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. And then, of course, we got Laura X-23 making her return, which I really wish we didn't see that in the fucking trailer.
Yeah, that would have been a nice surprise.
That would have been great. I mean, like, everybody kind of knew it was going to happen, but, like, imagine going to the theater, you didn't see that trailer, you start where he's desecrating the corpse of Logan, from Logan, and then, like, you would know, you're planting the seeds, like, okay, well, obviously she's going to show up, but then that moment happens. It would have been way more impactful than if they showed it in the trailer, which I'm surprised they did.
Me too.
I wonder if they thought it was so obvious that she was going to be in it that they're like, fuck it, let's show it.
Anyways,
but like, then why make her go through the whole point of like, she pulled an Andrew Garfield and was like, no, like I'm not the wolf, I'm not the wolf, like, I'm not in this. So I don't know, like it didn't ruin it for me, like it didn't take away from it, but it was just like, well, I mean, it kind of took away from it, but it didn't ruin the experience for me. I was just like, it would have been a little bit nicer if...
The one that actually got me, which I knew beforehand that it was likely going to be fucking Johnny Flame, but...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually, for a second, because I saw the blue, and
red.
I was like... Yeah, the red and the blue, and I was like... Oh my God, is this a Captain
They
America?
teased his theme too. They did the din, 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 like when he jumps down.
Yeah, and so then like even Deadpool, oh my God, and then it's like flame on, and you're like,
that was a great fake
got
out.
him.
That was a great fake out. Honestly, that was a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's Captain America. It was a nice fake out, and his character.
Bait and switch.
A little, yes, of course, going fly fishing in Marvel.
I actually liked. Oh my God, I'm forgetting her name. Like the main villain, the bald.
Oh, Cassandra Nova.
Yeah, Cassandra Nova. I actually enjoyed her part.
Yeah. I mean, like, I thought she was, like, for what she was given, she was compelling. Yeah. Like, I thought she...
Like, her performance, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought she gave a good, compelling performance. But I think you mentioned last time, too, there was nothing really for her to do.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the plot kind of falls apart with... Because, like... The whole point of this movie is that it's like, okay, the excitement is Deadpool and Wolverine, but then when that wears out, it's like, okay, where's the plot? And then that's kind of where the criticism kind of comes in, is that like, yeah, she's kind of like not really given a whole lot to do, just kind of big bad. I want to, get revenge and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, I thought her like as the character was great.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a little bit more to it than what it was, but I mean, again, there's been worse movies with worse characters and plot that don't have the charisma that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds bring to the table. So I think that like not that it gives it the pass, but it definitely makes it a lot more palatable than sitting through the Eternals, for example, like just trying to sit through the slog where it's like it's taking itself so seriously. And, I don't know.
100%. I know we're jumping around right now, but man, when Wolverine and Deadpool have their first fight and he gets on all fours and starts running at him, I was like,
and Hell's Bell starts playing AC/DC. I was just like,
yeah, here we come.
That was
baby knife.
all of the choreography was top tier for
Stellar.
their fights. Yeah, like I have no complaints when it comes to that. And we weren't spoiled too. Or sorry, we were spoiled too. We got like 3 good.
Yeah.
Was it 3 Deadpool versus Wolverine fights? There's there's at least 2. There's one in the car, and then there's the one in the wasteland.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like I think they're arguing a lot.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I think 2 really good fights, which I enjoyed. The car fight was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was jokes. And the Honda Odyssey and Nice Pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the Nice Pool, all the other Deadpools there.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah, like it was cool. It kind of the only thing that was just like off for me was like it just gave hints of like, oh, this is Marvel doing we need to have a billion CG characters, and I know they weren't always CG the whole time, but but it was just kind of like it was kind of the same thing that I felt with the battle in Cassandra Nova's base, where it was just like, oh, here's our team up fight against 1,000 unnamed soldiers.
It's their classic third act.
Yeah.
We need to have a big army of people that just die immediately. Like I thought the shot was cool how they kind of did a oneer.
Oh, the oneer was sick.
Yeah, that was dope.
Oh, that was great.
And also him holding the like non-regenerative one. Like, what are your feet asleep? I'm paralyzed. I was crying at that.
All of that was great.
But I agree with you. It's definitely like Marvel is like, we have to have this in the movie. It's in the contract kind of thing. But I thought they did a pretty good job.
I'm this is me nitpicking about it. It's just like these are like my internal thoughts that I'm just thinking of. I'm just like, like I can't help but feel like we've seen that before, but different movie. But it was still great. It was cool that so in the credits you can see that Blake Lively was actually Lady Pool. Everybody was speculating Taylor Swift or Gigi Hadid, but it was in fact Blake Lively. So so that was cool.
That's nice.
I mean, I guess the big talking point would be Wolverine's mask.
Oh,
so I have some notes on it. I think design wise and seeing him put it on for the first time, fucking amazing. Like it was so cool to see Wolvie in the mask.
It looks sick.
It was awesome. I will say, and I will stand by this, and people are going to shoot me down for it, but there was some shots, and by some shots, I mean there was a pretty good handful of shots where it was like holding on a still or a tight of him, where the eyes were they were throwing me.
Yeah, the eyes.
I felt, which is funny because they do the Deadpool eyes so well, and it was basically the same thing but with a different shape mask.
Yeah.
But the eye line was just, I don't know what it was, man. But like Wolverine would be looking this way, but the eyes were like over here, and it was throwing me. And then like I just felt like it wasn't sitting on his face correctly in a couple shots. Like his jaw would be like doing the Batman like. But his eyes were like that, and I'm like, something just, it's weird. It was weird.
I think there were a couple times where it turned into a full CG.
Yeah, for sure.
One that I will say that was super good was that hero shot of them coming out of the back of the bus where he's in his classic pose. That looks sick, but then right after that, he's just walking away, and it's like,
you were trying to say, slow-mo walking shots.
Something was off, and I was like, did they just fully switch to a CG like thing there? And I was like, interesting.
Or even in that final like chamber where they were like stopping Cassandra Nova, like when he has his, which by the way he's fucking looking shredder.
Dude,
these
holy
days.
shit, he's looked more ripped than ever. It's like how?
But the mask is still on, and like again, it was those where it was just like I'm like conflicted on where the sight line is because he's looking here and the eyes are there, and it was super nitpicky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy we got it, and I am very thrilled of how it looked.
Yeah.
But there was just a couple. I was like,
So before you guys go crucify us in the comments, this is nitpickiness. We thought it was fantastic.
No, it was
didn't
incredible.
Take me out of the moment. I was still in it. This is just
when we talk about this stuff. This is just me, and when I say we, I mean me, because I have all these thoughts that I just need to externalize, so I word vomit onto the podcast. But I'm not in any way criticizing the way it looked or anything like that. I'm saying there was just a couple, jank in some things, but again, didn't ruin it.
Every movie has that.
Of course, and especially like a movie with like 941 billion CG shots, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's like
every shot is CG.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. Like at some point you gotta cut some corners. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else.
There was kind of the ending, so where I was a little confused. So the ending is like a nice happy shot. Everybody, Deadpool's sitting in his kitchen again in his regular world with everybody, but then X-23's there. Mm-hmm. So are they implying that everyone else from the Wasteland came back? So is Jennifer Gardner back? Is Blade back? Are they back, or did they die?
I think
in
they
battle?
died with what's his name, Eliath.
Then how did X-23 survive?
That's a great question.
That was the only thing. I was just like, so are they back or not? Again, this isn't a nitpick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just genuinely wondering. I was like, are they implying that they could? Not that they would, because they wouldn't. But you know, I was just curious about that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point for sure.
I do want to quickly talk about the TVA stuff. For me, I liked the inclusion of the TVA. I think it makes sense. I think that was, you know, it was a good idea to include that because that's what they've been setting up.
And it makes sense in terms of like in lore,
how they're
like
going to get them there.
Lore,
yeah,
and like how they could, you know, cross over.
Yeah. So all of that made sense. There was just, so this is what I was talking about where it kind of slowed down for me was, you know, you have the big, awesome, you know, action scene at the beginning where he's fighting all the TVA soldiers and then he rewinds and he's explaining how he got there. And so that part of the movie, it was a good half hour of just exposition.
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay, he's in his house and then he goes to Avengers Tower, which was funny when he's getting interviewed by Happy Hogan. But then he's in the TVA and then like bad guys monologuing at him for like 25 minutes. And that part of the movie was the only part where I'm like, okay. That part was the only part of the movie I was like, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else was
because
fine.
they had to set up the whole anchor being thing.
Yeah.
It was like I get why they did it, but I agree with you. At that point, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it was just goofy, like kind of bad guy like monologuing, and I'm like, okay, I got it. I understand. Yeah. So I felt that could have just
you caught me monologuing.
yeah, literally syndrome.
Yeah.
No, so that was my if I had to say out of all the complaints of the movie, that was my biggest one. That one affected how I thought of the movie, but everything else after that and before that was great. It was just that setup part was too could have been 10 minutes shorter in my opinion. Yeah. That's it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm trying to think what else. Well, as we're thinking of things, you know, if you guys had any favorite parts or you know critiques on the movie, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to chat about it with you.
100%.
What would you say like one of your favorite moments where that really stuck out to you?
Honestly, I always think about the intro scene. Like that intro sequence was awesome. Going back to visit Logan and like using his corpse to fight. I thought that was great. All of the banter really between Logan and Deadpool, I loved all of it. Like there wasn't anything that I was just like, okay, I'm over it. But that's also subjective. A lot of people might not like the jokes. I love stupid humor, so
me too. Yeah,
I was down. And then like that first fight with him, with Deadpool and Wolverine in the Wasteland was when Hell's Bell started playing. I was just like,
yeah, it was sick. Yeah, I actually loved most of the song choices that they had.
Yeah,
too,
great soundtrack.
Yeah,
great soundtrack.
And like I was dancing to Backstreet Boys at the beginning. Or was it Backstreet Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wow, amazing. And then you know what? Another scene that stood out to me was when Cassandra Nova's in Wolverine's head and those shots of him by like the tombs or whatever. I was like, damn.
That was
like
cool.
Yeah. Just the way it was shot, like everything just looked really, and it was emotional. And then he's like, ha, gotcha.
That gave me Scott Lang and Endgame vibes when they're looking at like the memorial of all the names and he's looking for his daughter. That's
true.
what that kind of reminded me of.
True, 100%.
It was a really enjoyable movie. It was everything I wanted the movie to be. Was it perfect? No. Was it great and a hell of a lot of fun? Yeah,
absolutely.
It sure was. Yeah.
I think it succeeded in what it set out to do. You know, Deadpool entering the MCU and, you know, opening the floodgates for all the X-Men stuff as well. I think it was wonderful.
And it was a really nice send-off to the Fox characters. Like even I got a little emotional when they showed like some of the behind the scenes of like Fan Four Stick. Like the Fan Four Stick. But like, you know, that like all of the credits rolling is basically all of the you know, like little highlights of behind the scenes of filming the old Fox movies. And I was like, you know what? This truly was like a love letter to all of those movies. And even Ryan Reynolds, you know, making fun of himself in the was it X-Men Origins? Is the one where it's the botched version of Deadpool.
Yes.
So all of that was great, and it just really felt like an acknowledgement to like even the fans who have been there and stood behind the Fox films, and when, you know, Marvel just seemed to ignore it for so long, it was like it was nice to get that little acknowledgement. So that was cool.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I still am sticking, like you said earlier, I'm still sticking with my 9 out of 10 after sleeping on it and thinking about it. I think it's a super fun movie. Definitely don't watch it with your kids if you have them. I would wait till they're a little bit older. But yeah,
I think it's worth distincting too that like this fun movie is different from like when we say a movie's fun, you know, like when we watch like Blue Beetle or something, like it's fun.
Yeah.
But like this fun is like no, this is like a genuinely entertaining
this
film.
Is like you're on the Leviathan.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. There's like the swings, which is like Blue Beetle, and then there's the Leviathan. Which is
exactly.
They're both fun, just different types of fun.
Different types. Yeah, one's a little more intense.
Yeah.
On that note of being intense, what a moment for Kevin Feige and the Marvel crew to bring back
Kevin
Robert Downey.
Fungus.
Yes, to bring back Robert Downey Jr.
I have thoughts.
Yeah, we have some thoughts on this. I think are we split as a team right now? I think you and I are like, I don't know if that's a good idea, and I think Ben and Alex are like, this is gonna be good.
So my initial hype levels were high, and I was like, holy shit! Like everybody, you see that, and you're like, what? Like it was like a big, like holy shit, that's awesome. Like the part of me, like the emotional side of me, is like, oh man, I love that because I miss RDJ, and like that's great to see him back. Like, but at the other side of it, it's like it does feel like a Hail Mary. It feels
1000%.
like it feels like Marvel just acknowledged, like, yeah, you're fucking right. We're out of ideas. So it's like, yep, we don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
So
well, it's literally like the meme that I made the other day. It's like, you could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Yeah,
it's like they bring in the Russos and RDJ, and it's like, oh, awesome.
It's one thing to bring in the Roosters because it's like, okay, yeah, they did the last 2 Avengers films, which are like the most successful superhero movies of all time. So it makes sense to have them do the next one. But then it also being like, oh, we're also bringing back. I saw this other meme that I was cracking up at. You know how like there's like. There's fire extinguishers behind a glass case, and it says break in the case of emergency. Someone put a picture of Robert Downey Jr. and then like a broken case, breaking case of emergency. Yeah, it's like it's between Deadpool being like, yeah, you caught us at a low point, to then now like a day later after the movie comes out, they're like, yeah, so Robert Downey Jr. is coming. It does. I don't want to say it ruins his legacy because it doesn't, because it's still he died as Iron Man or whatever, but it does feel cheap. It feels cheap. It feels like we need to get the fans' attention somehow. How do we do that? Robert Downey Jr. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Go ahead.
No, 100%. I mean, I know that it's not the same situation, but it kind of reminds me of the whole Star Wars thing of like somehow Palpatine returned, even though it's not the same character coming back. It's like, I'm going to see Robert Downey Jr. and be like, that's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like he's been so iconic as him that it's like, you know, I'm sure he'll be wearing the mask most of the time, and you know, truly, I think he'll kill the performance.
100%,
he's a great actor. He's gonna do it. It's just like you couldn't have picked anyone else. There's no one else you could have brought into there.
Well, the problem too is like just like when people look at Robert Downey Jr., they don't look at like if you asked a kid who this guy is, they're gonna say Tony Stark, right? It's so ingrained in popular culture, his face and his personality as Tony Stark.
They literally show it in the fucking universe, like in Spider-Man. His face is everywhere. Everywhere I look, his face. It's like
it's impossible to look at him and say that's not Tony Stark. So which leads me to believe that it's gonna be a whole variant situation, and they want to have that moment where the Avengers fight and are like Tony, and it's like no, I'm Dr. Doom, and it's like. I get like that could be an emotional moment, but also it's like I would just rather like we were watching me and Ben were watching X-Men Days of Future Past yesterday, and I'm like, fuck, Michael Fassbender would be so cool as Dr. Doom. Or just one of these like really intense A-list actors that you could get. Like it's not that I don't think Robert Downey Jr. can do it, but I just think because of the repercussions of his role in the universe, it's going to be really hard to separate the two.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to lean into that, and it's going to be a whole thing where it's like he's supposed to be like a variant of Tony Stark, but he's Victor Von Doom in another life.
I mean, I guess
whatever,
it would make sense. But
it does make sense, and like I see the wheels turning. I understand the decision, but I still feel like it was also just a board meeting being like, all right, we need to get the attention back. RDJ, how do we get RDJ? Well, we got to do Dr. Doom. We got to replace Kang. RDJ is Dr. Doom. All right.
Yeah.
Bingo. Bonus to the sold to the gentleman in the blue tie.
Yeah. Literally.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's like we can only speculate right now. It could be fucking incredible. It's it's going to come out, and again, like we said, he's going to destroy the performance, no doubt. It's just at the end of the day. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Robert Downey Jr. is announced.
Yeah, it's like, oh, of course. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Let us know in the comments.
I feel like it's pretty 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
I feel like either you're like, this is the best thing ever, or you really hate the decision. I see both sides.
Me too.
I understand both sides, and I'm curious to see how it plays out. I'm leaning towards I don't think it's a good idea, but I still think it can be amazing, like you said. Right?
Yeah, totally, 100%. I think I would place myself in the middle of it right now because I just want to wait to see what happens. I'm not like totally against or totally for it.
This is gonna be a complete side tangent, but like my other just in general.
Yes, good call. Yeah.
In general, with the reason why I am so like skeptical is because if you look at where we are now in the MCU compared to where we were at this current point in the Infinity Saga, things were being set up. There was a we knew where we were getting. We were like, okay, we're going towards the Infinity Stones, and there was a central. There isn't really any like they were setting up Kang, but then all that. I still think Kang might appear in some form, but like we're getting close to like the end of the multiverse saga. Yeah. And I still have no clue what the overall like.
Yeah, who's teaming up with who? What's gonna?
We've never seen the Avengers. We don't know who's around anymore. Like it's just been multiverse stories, which is great and all, but like there's no central tying theme right now. So they have to establish that with the Fantastic Four,
and hopefully maybe even like Captain America.
Yeah,
we'll touch on that,
but even still, there's no central like end point other than being like, hey, Dr. Doom's the next bad guy. It's like, all right, great. How are we going to get there? Yeah. And how is this going to tell a compelling story in terms of the entire universe? I don't think they're trying to go for like what they did with the Infinity Saga. I think it's all supposed to be like, for lack of a better term, anthology, where it's like they're all just kind of doing their own thing. But also I can't help but like, how are we gonna be emotionally invested into something that we don't even know what's happening?
Like the reason why Infinity War and Endgame worked so well is because you spent time with all these characters, like going through shit together and, failing and literally fighting each other in Civil War. And then they had to come together. Like that was the whole point because like you said, there was a unified story. Yeah. Like, Kevin Feige had his hand in every single film being like, go this direction. So then by the time we got there, whereas like you just said, it's like all these other ones are scattered, which is cool because they're self-contained stories. But because you already set that tone with the MCU, it's hard to just be like, okay, well, yeah, it's random stories.
But like there hasn't been closure with any property that's come out. Like Shang-Chi ends on a cliffhanger about the rings, right? Yeah. That's it.
Never seen him again.
Yeah. What else? Multiverse of Madness ends on a cliffhanger of him going into the dark dimension. Never see it again. Yeah. We don't know what's gonna happen with Captain America in the show. It was like he got the wings and the shield, so we're gonna find out now. What other property? She-Hulk was just its own thing.
Yeah, the Marvels thing did their own space adventure.
Loki, I would say, was the most like thematically on point with everything, right? Yep. And then the ending was like, okay, he's Idris Elba, and what? I thought he was gonna show up in Deadpool. That's a whole other conversation, but kind of sad he wasn't. But that's okay. Yeah. I would say like Loki season 2 has been like the most thematic with the multiverse and like the understanding how the multiverse works, but nothing else is connected to it. So it's like I don't know, man. I don't know how we're gonna do it. They got a year to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed what we talked about, and maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Let us know in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this. We're going to do our best to keep up with all the trending stuff going on right now. It is busy season for all of us, so we are trying hard, but we appreciate you being patient and sticking by us. So
we love you.
Love you. Miss you.
We'll see you guys later.